So I chose to do this in the YouTube channel today, but there are different ways to do this. And here's what we're going to cover today. We're going to cover the different types of online events. We're going to talk about the benefits of having a webinar and some basic statistics that should help you. I'm going to go over the general process and the format of a webinar, the suggested format. We're going to talk about the different types of webinar platforms. Now, the focus is going to be on Google Hangouts. This is on a Google Hangout, and we're streaming it in the YouTube channel. But there are different types, and there's a lot of paid versions, and I'm not going to go into all of that. I'm going to show you guys how to put on a webinar the free way through Google Hangouts. We're going to talk about how to promote the webinar, and then some tips for the day of and for follow-up. So, as an introduction, I just want to let you guys know to get a glass of water and a pen and paper. I'm going to give you all a lot of information, so I want you to jot this down, but the replay will be available on the YouTube channel, so the same link that you're using to watch this webinar is going to be the one that you can come back to. And post-webinar, I'll go into the minutes and put in the major topics so that you can jump to the portion of the video that is most applicable for what you need. So with that being said, here we go. Let's get into some really great information. So there's a lot of confusion about the different types of online events as far as webinars, teleseminars, teleconferences, webcasts, and what is the difference between all of these things? Well, what we are on today is a webinar. It includes a video. So if you were on just a teleseminar, you would be calling in by phone to listen into the presentation. The webinar can include a live video of someone talking. It can be interactive. It can be just like what we're doing today, the slideshow presentation. The webcast is a more passive version of the webinar, so when you watch the replay, that will be considered more of a webcast, something that's recorded. So I just want to go over a couple webinar statistics to kind of prepare you for what you can expect. You'll have sign-ups for a webinar, but not everybody is going to attend live. I'm going to give you some tips to incentivize people to attend live because, of course, the most effective webinars are done live. So if you are using it to pitch a product or a service, chances are that you will have a much higher conversion if you're able to get your registrants on the live webinar. So out of your sign-ups, typically only 42% of the webinar registrants will attend live. When you put that out there for people to sign up, don't fret if not a lot of people have signed up well before the webinar, because most people will not sign up until the week or even the day of the webinar. Of course, people are always looking to see what else is on their schedule, and they are procrastinators and will sign up on the last day. So it's good to have that expectation. You'll be pleasantly surprised. The average viewing time of a webinar is 45 to 60 minutes, and I'll go over that format with what you should do typically with those time blocks within that 45 to 60 minutes. That is the average webinar. Of course, if you're doing using the webinar as a class or particularly a paid program, that might change a bit. 25% of the registrants will view the replay. When choosing the best day for the webinar, Tuesdays through Thursdays have the highest sign-ups. So those are the best day, and it's actually in order. Tuesday is the best, Wednesday is the second best, and Thursday is the third. And 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time seems to be the best time of day to schedule the webinar. So let's talk a little bit about the format of your webinar. There's different types of ways that you can do your webinar. You can have a single presenter, which is what I'm doing right now. And the single presenter format can be the slideshow as I'm doing now. I'm screen sharing a presentation that I have prepared ahead of time. You can have visuals, you might just have slides. It can be you talking, where you would actually be seeing my face. Intermingled with slides, so that's a possibility too. You can do screen shares where you show people how to do things on your computer. Take them to different websites, take tours of different things. So there's different ways you can go about doing it. Of course, it's all about the goal. What's the goal of your particular webinar? You can have a moderated panel discussion. So particularly Google Hangouts, you can have up to 10 people within the video conference. So you might choose to have a moderated panel discussion where you have unlimited viewers, but a few people are presenting and talking about a certain topic. You could do interview style, and anyone that knows me and may have done an interview with me, those were done on Hangouts. So you could try that format. And then there's the interactive. And as I said, you can have up to 10 people on a video conference with the Google Hangouts. And so this could be good for classes or programs, different modules that you want people to ask Q&As live and talk to each other. We're going to go over the general timeline of when you should have things done. Take this as general recommendations. Some people may work better planning very far in advance. Of course, once you get it under your belt, you'll be able to do this a lot quicker. And if you're anything like me, I work better under pressure. And so my timeline seemed to be moved up closer to the deadline date. So 4 to 6 weeks before, you should choose your concept and the time and date of your webinar. Also 4 to 6 weeks before, you want to choose your platform, and we're going to go over the various types of platforms and which ones might be best for what you want to do. You should also delegate technical tasks. So, for example, we're going to go over how to do the sign-up, like the opt-in form, the landing page on your website. If that's something you need help with, you need to contact your webmaster and have them, get them that on their radar. Make sure they know when this webinar is supposed to go on and if it'll fit into their schedule. The same thing with whoever handles your email marketing. If that's not you, make sure that they know that you're going to need some autoresponders set up or some broadcasts set up. Same thing with your social media. If you've got somebody handling that, you'll want to schedule posts out. So once we get through this webinar, you'll have an idea of all the specific tasks, and you will want to delegate all these tasks ahead of time and make sure that people have room in their schedule to help you out. 1 to 2 weeks before, you're going to want to develop the content. So get a general outline together. Decide what format you want. Is it going to be the panel discussion? Is it going to be a presentation such as this? If so, you need to go ahead and prepare the content. Get your slideshow. If you're really on the ball and you decide you want to do this, you can even record your presentation. This one is not recorded. It is live. But you can record the presentation and share the slideshow and then just be on live to answer questions and field the questions as it's going on. 1 week before, you need to make sure that your landing page is ready. You're going to want to prepare it before 7 days prior, but on the 7th day prior to your webinar, it's going to go live. You're going to start promoting it, and people are going to start signing up for it. Now, you can start having sign-ups before 7 days, but I will tell you, as you saw in the statistics, most people don't sign up until the week of and the day of. And with too much promotion, people will lose interest. So you really don't want to spend too much time trying to promote it, especially if it's a webinar that's actually promoting a product launch or a service or a class coming up. So you'll have the opt-in page ready for sign-ups. Then you'll have the ads that are going to be prepared, and you're going to want to launch the ads 7 days before that are going to lead the interested registrants to the opt-in page on your website in order to sign up. So those ads are going to be ready to go, and they will launch a week prior. Also a week prior, and you can do this before then, you'll want to schedule out your daily social media posts that are going to promote the signups for your webinar. And you will want to do this daily, maybe even more than once, depending on what social media platform you're using. But you will want to do this daily to encourage signups. Make sure that 7 days before you have up your autoresponders set up within your email marketing program. Now, for those of you that are watching that aren't quite sure what an autoresponder is, an autoresponder is a single or series of messages or emails that will go out to the people that sign up based on when they sign up. So I put in my email address, I sign up for the webinar, I get an initial welcome email. Then right before the day of the webinar, I'm going to get a reminder. The day of, I'll get a reminder, and then there'll be follow-up emails. Those are called autoresponders, and you're going to set up a series of autoresponders to go out to the people that sign up. Two days before, you may choose to write a blog post that's promoting your webinar, especially if you have a pretty big audience to your blog. You'll definitely want to use this. Ultimately, we are always trying to drive traffic to our website, so you will want to do the blog post. It's another way to promote it. The morning of, you'll want to have a newsletter that's prepared and scheduled to go out announcing the webinar the day of. Not just, this is separate from your autoresponders. This is going to go out to your entire list to remind them if they have starting that day and to go ahead and sign up. And then 30 minutes before, you're going to sign on and test your audio and video. I did sign on 30 minutes before this webinar only to find out that I did have technical difficulties. Now at the last minute I had to recreate the event for reasons I won't go into. So I recreated the event and shared that link. And so a lot of times with webinars we're going to have to think on our feet. So be prepared for those difficulties and roll with the punches. Now, as far as platforms, I'm going to go over a few of the major platforms. There are plenty more, and we are, as I said, going to focus on Google Hangouts. That is what I'm using, and that is what I have used. I just signed up for the one of the ones on the list, and I'll let you know how that goes, but for now we're going to focus on Google Hangouts. If you are interested, these are some very popular webinar platforms. GoToWebinar is popular, albeit it is a little bit on the expensive side. So you may want to get a couple under your belt before you decide that you're going to do this regularly, and then maybe sign up for something that's going to give you all of the features, the added features. GoToWebinar is probably the most popular one, and it is probably the most expensive one. ClickMeeting, Webinars on Air, which piggybacks off Google Hangouts, and Webinar Jam, which also piggybacks off Google Hangouts, and that is the one that I just purchased. Actually, Webinar Jam, now they're claiming that there's only 13 hours left or so on their deal, but if you go to webinarjam.com, maybe they'll renew the deal, but it's a yearly fee rather than some of the other ones which are monthly fees. So if you think that webinars are something that you might be doing frequently in the future, it would be worth looking into. I know it's $297 for the year, so you can check that out on their websites. So there are lots of different differences between getting a paid webinar platform versus using Hangouts on Air. But I'm going to go over the major key differences that I think really matter. Now, both of them you have the option to screen share, as I am doing now. There is no attendee limit on Google Hangouts on Air. You can have unlimited viewers. However, it is limited to the amount of participants you can actually have in the video conference. It's limited to 10 participants. The attendee limit on the paid platforms really depends on the plan. Of course, you can find something that will really fit all of your needs, so it just requires a little bit of research. Now, one of the downfalls of having a Hangout on air versus doing the paid platform for most paid platforms is that people do need to have a Google account in order to attend the Hangout on air. Now, if you're streaming it directly from your YouTube channel, as I am doing, that is not the case. So there is a way to work around that. But if you want people to participate, they will need to have a Google account. Both of them do allow recordings, and we'll have the recording available, and there are different ways that you can have that replay available. Of course, if you're using the paid platform, they have the one way, so there really aren't a whole lot of options for that. You can possibly embed the replay on your website either way. Now, as of recently, Hangouts on Air has allowed the option for people to call in. So if they're in the car and they're going on a trip and they want to listen in, this is now an option. So both paid and free platforms have the option to call in. When you set up the Hangout on Air, it will give you a number for people to call into. Now here is one of the big benefits of using a paid platform. Whether or not it's a deal breaker for you must use the paid platform. It just depends on how often you do it and what you need. But the automated reminders and the follow-up emails. This is offered in the paid platform where it is not offered on Hangouts on Air. So if you have email marketing that does allow you to do autoresponders, then that might not be such a big deal. But it does streamline the process by allowing you to set up automated notifications within the paid platform. Now, the other one that is kind of nice in the paid platform is they offer the Q&A. So they have the commenting features right there within the webinars. Whereas with the Hangouts, it's something that is available, such as right here in the YouTube video, you can comment. You can install a commenting plugin on your website if you're streaming your webinar through your website on an event page. You can stream your Hangout through a Google event page, in which case you can comment on the event page. So there are different options that you can get around this. Analytics. So the paid platforms have reports. They tell you how many people were on versus how many people signed up, your conversion rates, and all that good stuff, whereas you do not get that with Hangouts on Air. You can charge for your webinars within the paid platform. So if it is important for you, if you're giving classes on webinars, then you may choose to do the paid platform. That would probably work better for you. And then a list of viewers. This is kind of a big thing. On Hangouts on Air, unless people are actually participating, they're one of the 10 participants, you cannot actually see who was on the webinar. Oftentimes, what people will do to get around this, and I've used this, is in the beginning of the Hangout on Air, we had a commenting feature, and you can see how many viewers are on, so you know the number, you just don't know who. So in the beginning, you'll ask people to kind of join into the conversation and introduce themselves and tell us where they're from. So that can be a good way to get people, A, engaged, and also be able to see who's on your webinar, for those who will actually do the engaging. Overall, I do think that starting out, that just using the free platform is a good way to kind of break yourself in. And you can pretty much get around most everything as far as the features. You can either add them yourself, or maybe, it's not such a big deal. So to the meat of the presentation, let's talk about how to schedule your Hangout. Now you're going to schedule your Hangout. You're going to be I'm in the Google account. The screenshot is showing me in my Google account. Or excuse me, YouTube, which is a Google account. They own YouTube. So you go to youtube.com and you're going to click the gear shift. So the drop-down menu comes down and you're going to choose Video Manager. Once you go to the video manager, you're going to see this left sidebar. You're going to go to live events. It's going to bring you to a pop-up where you're going to click New Live Event. Once you click New Live Event, it's going to guide you through the process. You're going to see a place to put all your basic information. You want to title the webinar. You want to have the date and the time. In the description, I always recommend that you put a hyperlink very first thing. May that be to the event page on your website, or it could be a sales page, or it could be the root directory, just the main page of your home page. Feel free to add some tags that'll make it easier to find this webinar. And you'll want to make sure that the setting is on public. And then once you fill out the information, instead of that Go Live Now button, it's going to say create the event or schedule. So once you do that, you're going to see a button underneath the event that you created that prompts you to start the Hangout on Air. Now, in order to promote this Hangout on Air that you have scheduled, you'll want to start the event, and you're going to grab the link. You can see where I've highlighted it. And you're going to copy that. That is going to be the link to the Hangout on the date and time that you scheduled. So you can then close, you can X out that window and get out of there, and you've got the event link for promotion. So you've scheduled the Hangout. Now what? Now, as I kind of mentioned earlier, there are different ways that you can go about doing the Hangout, as far as you can just give them that link that you just copied, and that will have people, they'll be able to actually get into the Hangout. So up to 10 people will be able to get on the Hangout. So you'll want to share that link. If you say you're doing an interview, that's the link you're going to share. The person will be able to join the Hangout, and it will be live and interactive. Now, you can also stream it through your YouTube channel, which is what I am doing now. And this is new. I've done it on my website, and I've done it in the Google event, but this is new, and I chose this because you have the commenting features that are already right there. And so this is also where the replay will be. It just seemed much cleaner for the type of webinar that I'm doing today. Now, in order to have people just come and see the live stream, you will want to click on the event, and you'll view it on the Watch channel, and it'll give you a YouTube link, and that's what you'll share. The other type of event, and I think this is a very professional way, so if you are doing a product launch or promoting a class or promoting a service, then I would highly recommend embedding the event on your website. Now, this either requires that you have some basic knowledge of how to edit and manage your own website and create pages and embed video code, or that you hire somebody to help you do that. It simply means that you're going to create a page within your website, call it events, call it whatever you want. You will copy the embed code, and I'm going to show you how to do this, but you'll copy the embed code on that page, and then you will share that page on your website. And the benefits of doing this is that you are driving traffic to your website. And the other way that you can do your Hangout is you can embed it direct. You can create a Google event, and you can embed the video directly on your Google event page where people can come and watch, and again have the option for commenting. And I'm going to show you how to do this as well. Or you can use the paid webinar platform, which will do all of these things for you. It will have the commenting. It will be hosted on their server, so it will not bring people to your website, but it will be a strong server where people can go. It will have the commenting features. It will have the Q&As. It will have all that stuff for you. So let's talk about how to embed it on your website. When you go to live events, as I showed you how to earlier over in your YouTube manager, your video manager on the left sidebar in your live events, once you're in your live events, you will click on the webinar title, and I'm showing you here the webinar, how to plan, produce, and promote a webinar. You actually click on that title. It is hyperlinked. Now it's going to bring you over to the YouTube page that you are watching on now. Now if it hasn't started, it's going to look like this. It's going to tell you when it's starting, give you a counter. So this is where you are going to click share. It's going to bring you to the option to embed, and when you click embed, it will already have the embed code highlighted. Make sure that you unclick show suggested videos when the video finishes, because otherwise it's going to splash a bunch of thumbnails up there and it could be competitors, and it might be stuff that you're not interested in having up there after your webinar is over. So you'll copy the code. Now I'm showing you how to do this on a WordPress website, but you'll go and you'll create the page. Mine is called Events. You need to make sure that you choose the text tab, not the visual editor that you're probably used to using. You'll drop the embed code of the video that you had copied from the YouTube channel into the live editor window. Then you just publish your page and that's it. So now I'm going to show you how to, if you would like to create a Google Plus event and have it streamed there, you need to go to Google Plus. You're going to choose the events from the drop-down menu if you're on your home page of Google Plus. Make sure that you create an event, not plan a Hangout. That is a little bit misleading. We want you to create the event. You're going to fill out your details, the event titles. You might want to change your banner image, put in the time. You're not going to need to put in a location because we are going to do this as a live event. You want to invite circles. You may just, it's going to make you do that. So just put in public or choose public. So once you've done that, you need to choose the event options. You see the little drop-down menu up there, event options. It's going to bring this drop-down menu down and you're going to click advanced. Once you click advanced, choose show more options. You will see a line in there where it says YouTube URL. So that YouTube URL that I talked about earlier, that you can grab from the address bar, you'll copy it and you'll paste it into that place where you can paste the URL of the YouTube video. Once you have done that and saved the event, this is what it's going to look like. This is the event page, and it's going to show the video. Now it's, of course, at the time that I took the screenshot, it was pre-webinar, so it's not showing. But right now, if you go to this event page on Google+, it will be streaming live. Okay. So those are the two ways that I have gone over. I'm not going to go into the paid webinar and how to use paid webinar platforms. There's too many to go through. And the focus on this particular webinar is about how to do a free Hangout, a Google Hangout. So this is kind of a beginner's guide. And I strongly recommend as a beginner's guide that you kind of test out the Hangouts first. So when you start a Hangout, this is what it looks like. Except for the fact that I copied a picture of myself to cover up what I looked like when I was actually creating this webinar. I didn't get all dolled up to create the webinar. So I did use a little photo editing and pasted a picture in there. So anyway, what you will see where that picture is that will be you live. That is the presenter window. Now you can see on the left, when you hover over to the left of a Hangout, that little left sidebar with the icons is going to pop up. And I won't go over all of them, but I'll go over the major ones. Now the first one at the top is a chat window. So if you click on that, you'll see over in the right-hand side what says now Hangout Toolbox will then be a live chat. Then you will see underneath that the green arrow, or the green box with the white arrow, is the screen share. Now I have the arrow going to the camera, but that is wrong. It's the green box with the arrow is going to be a screen share. So when you click on that, it's going to give you screen share images options. And you'll click the very first one. Make sure that if you are giving, this is something that I have done in the past, if you want to share a presentation, a PowerPoint or a Keynote presentation, you make sure to share your full desktop, and not, like if you have the presentation open, don't just choose that window because it will not show the presentation. So make sure to choose your full desktop. Very important. Now, if you are showing a video of you and not a presentation, it may behoove you to go check out the little settings, the picture settings up in the top right. That'll be a drop down and it'll click. You can choose different options. Warm, smooth is my favorite. So you can play with that before you go live and see what looks best for you. Now, the Hangout Toolbox. That is a really cool place. Now, if you do not see the Hangout Toolbox, it may mean that you have not downloaded this app. So when you start your Google Hangout, you may need to download the app, which is at the, that's one of those icons as well, and search for Hangout Toolbox. It should show up on the front page, but you'll want to download that. And the reason being is because if you see that fancy little banner at the bottom with the business name and the logo, that's called a lower third. And if you're presenting or you're having, say you're doing the panel discussion, that can be a really cool addition to the video. So you'll want to make sure you download the Hangout Toolbox app, and then it will show up in your left sidebar. And then you can, it will open up when you click on it, it'll open up that sidebar on the right, and turn on the lower third. Type in what you want to show as your headline. You can also type in a tagline underneath it. You'll choose the logo, and then you can choose your colors for branding. Now it does show up like that. You will see it as a mirror image, but in the recording, it will show up the right way. And then, of course, the Start Broadcast. If you have scheduled a Hangout on air, you will see the Start Broadcast button in the bottom, and it is not recorded until you hit that Start Broadcast. Everyone that joins will have to check yes to agree to being part of the Hangout on air. So what is the basic format for a webinar? The basic format for a webinar, they're about 45 to 60 minutes. Typically you have your introduction, which is where you introduce yourself, tell people to get a glass of water, a pen and paper, you tell them what you're going to cover. And this is also where if you have an offer at the end, you may want to include that in the introduction. Stay tuned for, maybe you have a special drawing at the end. Stay tuned for the drawing at the end. We'll have a live Q&A, and for those of you who want a deeper level of support, we will talk about how I can do that for you, or you'll talk about your offer, and you might want to introduce that, and it'll just kind of take the pressure off. You'll do your presentation, which usually lasts about 30 minutes. Then you have about 10 minutes for your pitch, and 15 to 20 minutes for a Q&A. Don't forget, you might want to offer incentives. Incentives would look something like this. When you're doing your offer, for those of you who are here on the offer live, if you sign up for this product or class or whatever it is that you're doing by midnight tomorrow night, you will get it at 50% off. That's the kind of incentive that you'll want to offer. Or to incentivize people to show up live, you'll have some special offer for everybody that showed up live, some kind of a freebie. Maybe they'll be entered into a drawing. So those are very important tools to incentivize people to show up live. Now, how do you get people to sign up? Now, here is a landing page. That's the first thing you need to do, is have a place for people to sign up. You have a landing page on your website. I have given you a list here. Excuse me, I've given you a URL of a landing page that we recently did. And if you go to that hyperlink, you will see some of the guts of a landing page, the kinds of things that you need, the essential components. So now I did a video, and I call this a talking head video because it's me talking and not slides or anything like that. So it's me telling people why they need to sign up for the webinar. So you have a video, and then beside the video, underneath the video, make sure you have the details and then the sign up. And then people can opt in and get on the list to sign up for the webinar. You'll tell people why they want to attend, put some bullet points underneath, giving them the benefits, what they're going to learn. And then we talk about like the other offers that we had. You know, we had bonuses for showing up live, we had a drawing, and then of course the social media icons. You'll want to have social media icons underneath so people can get to your social platforms. And even a social share bar, which is not on this particular landing page, but that would be important. And a social share bar is so that people can share this landing page on Facebook. They can tweet it, +1 it, whatever. So then you have the place for people to sign up. Then you'll want to promote it. You'll want to schedule posts that take people to this page so they can sign up. You'll want to share it within the groups. Most importantly, though, you're going to want to get outside of your network. And by doing this, you're going to build your network. So you might want to do Google AdWords to send people to the landing page. Maybe you'll do Facebook ads to promote it. In a very effective way, I'm not going to go too far into how to do JV partners, but a JV partner is a really great way to encourage signups and build your list and really, really effectively grow your network. And a JV partner is simply someone who agrees to promote your event or product or whatever it is in exchange usually for some type of commission. So they would get anywhere from 20 to 50% of anything that sells that comes through them. Now, there are different ways to track this as well, and I would recommend, if you choose to go the JV partner route, that you keep in mind it should be somebody that you have already established a prior connection with, and it should be somebody who's in a similar industry, not exactly what you do, but a complementary industry, so it could benefit both of you, and you could be a JV partner for them and they could be one for you. Somebody who has an established network already and believes in your product and you. So what happens when they sign up? They're going to get the autoresponders that we've talked about, and typically these are the fewest that you should have. You should have the welcome email that goes out immediately, giving them the details and the link. You should have a reminder email, and you could have more than one. There could be a day before, definitely a morning of. Then you would have an immediate follow-up that would be scheduled to go out immediately after the webinar, telling people about the offer and thanking them for showing up. Then you might have another one if you have an offer. Say I was offering a product and the offer was going to end tomorrow at midnight. Then I might have a email go out tomorrow evening to tell people the offer is about to end. So tips for the big day. Make sure that you give at the beginning of the webinar, you tell people any reminders for the viewers, the pen and paper, grab a glass of water, tell them how long it's going to be. Now, this is stuff that I did not do. I was thrown off by my technical difficulties, but in a perfect world, I would have told you how long it was going to be, the presentation. I was going to have a special offer at the end, which I don't because this is purely educational. Unless, of course, you do need a higher level of support and help with webinars, I am available for that. You'll want to let people know of any references that they might need to have open if they want to have a particular web page open that they can refer to and flip back and forth on tabs. And then let them know about the incentives and the pitch at the end, whether or not there's going to be a drawing. Make sure that you turn off any notifications or background noise. If you have Skype open, you'll want to make sure to turn that off. It would be terrible to get a Skype call in the middle of one of your presentations. Same thing with your cell phone and any background noise. So you may choose to use a headset if you feel like that might be an issue. Having somebody to assist is very important, especially for the first time or two, or even when you get bigger and bigger. You'll want somebody there to field comments and make sure that if people are commenting, you know, and they're having technical difficulties, that there's somebody there to kind of help them through that and guide them through for customer service. And that assist person could be somebody that helps you set up the webinar, does the autoresponders, and helps with the landing page and all of those things. Then you'll want to get online early. You'll want to test for those technology difficulties that I seem to have always, so don't feel alone. It's something that's going to happen. Just be prepared for those and make sure that you get online early and have your presentation ready. And relax and have fun. Of course, when you're doing the presentation, one of the more important things is to have a conversational tone, and people really, when you are talking about something that you love, generally that passion will come out. But some people might be nervous doing the presentations. And once you do a couple and get a couple under your belt, that's not going to be such a big factor. But it's very important to relax and have fun. You want your viewers to actually enjoy the presentation, and that energy will convey. And then that's it. You'll want to do the follow-up. You'll want to make sure that after the webinar is over that you share it on your social media channels. Tell people about the replay. Promote it. Put it in your newsletter. Make sure that you are keeping on top of the email marketing. The whole idea behind webinars is not only to pitch a product or a service or get people to sign up for a program or class, but you're building your list. That's the great thing about the JV partners too, is when people share it with their list, you know, you're building, it's just really building a list, and the list is such an important part of your business because you have somebody to market to. So in the future, now you're building your list, you'll want to make sure that you merge this particular list of people who signed up for your webinar into your main list, and make sure you have segments and know where they came from, so that in the future that you can see which campaigns were the most successful. And keep in touch. People will forget how they got on your list. They'll forget that they got on there because of a webinar. So make sure that you keep sending them stuff and reintroducing yourself and telling them what's going on and keeping them engaged. And use your website as a source of information. So send people after the webinar to your website. Give them a link. Tell them where the replay is going to be housed. Tell them how they can find out more information about you, about your programs, about your services. Make sure that you're driving traffic to your site. And then schedule the next one. And that's it. So, as I said, this was purely educational. I really wanted to be here today to tell everybody how to do their own. We are doing this initially for Femfessionals members, so I'm thankful to all of you that were able to show up or maybe watching the replay. I'm going to answer some questions over on YouTube if anybody has any. So I'll hang out for a few minutes. Please type your question into the YouTube comment area. If you have any specific questions, I will be able to answer those. And if you need more help with any of these pieces that I talked about today, please let your webmaster know, your social media manager, hire your marketing help. Whoever helps you with all of this stuff, get help. And I am here for that very thing. So this is how you can get in touch with me. I have branded this for a new business. So everybody that knows me may be a little bit confused by the new business name, but I am trying to use this as a landing board for a new product with this new business. So you can get in touch with me the way that you know how, or through this web address and this email address. So please just let me know if you have any comments, and I'll hang out for a few minutes. But other than that, thank you so much for showing up, and I will be answering questions. Okay, I'm going to assume that there are no questions, and I'm going to sign off. So thank you so much. Everybody have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing your own planned webinar very soon.